Hey guys, just wanted to pop on today and talk about three things that you're not supposed to talk about in mixed company or social settings, and that would be politics, religion, and money. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about money. Why? Because it's so vitally important for everybody in their daily lives. And we all require different amounts of it. But at the end of the day, I think we would all agree that money's right up there with oxygen in terms of importance. And it's interesting, when you look at when you're growing up, your financial literacy basically is whatever mom and dad passed along to you. And they were passing on what they learned and the knowledge and experience they acquired. And it might not be the best, but it's what they had to give. So that's kind of what you adopt. And the reality is in school, there is no financial literacy whatsoever. So there's a huge gap there. And when you think about it, it's already outdated information what you're getting from mom and dad, because if they got it from their mom and dad or their own experience, well, our environment's changing so quickly. We've got internet millionaires and social media people and people doing all sorts of things that are not mainstream, making millions of dollars. Everything's upside down. So if you look at when you were younger, how difficult and challenging it would have been looking at the financial landscape and how do you build your life, you can imagine what it's like for the youth of today. It's gotten a lot more difficult. The economy is very different. The pay scale is very different. But all that to say, there are still people out there who are absolutely crushing it financially. And it's going to require a rewiring of your subconscious mind, because I'd want you to sit and really ask yourself, look at how much money you're making and ask yourself how it came to be. A lot of people working in salaried positions, they just accept that that's their pay rate. And I understand that. And probably if they could, they would love to double or triple their income. But there are ways to do it outside of just their regular work, whether that's through investments or maybe starting a side business. But at the end of the day, guys, wherever you're at, especially if you're entrepreneurial and you have uncapped earning potential, then you need to look at how you generate the maximum amount of return for your time. One of the things I learned when I was young was, and it was really valuable to me, was Chris, don't trade your time for money. That was number one. And I don't work for paychecks, I work for profits. That was another perspective that shattered me. And it just got me thinking in a much bigger way. And it was like, how do I leverage? How do I grow? How do I manage my finances? How do I scale and make compound growth on my money and make my money work for me? And through a lot of trial and error and talking with a lot of different people and trying different things, I figured it out. But it's an ongoing journey. So I remember in 1998 when I went to the gym at my university, there was a guy there who was a voracious reader. He was always reading the latest and greatest business books. And he had one day. It was purple and yellow, and it caught my eye. And I said, "What are you reading now, Alex?" And he held it up, and it was Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And he actually lent the book to me. I read it in a day. I swear to God, I read it in a day. I just couldn't put it down. And it was incredible how many epiphanies I was having as I read through this book. And I have to say, it did some damage in a few ways. One, it made me want to become far more entrepreneurial, especially when I was in corporate sales at the time. And it made me realize that maybe I'm in the wrong space and that there's greater opportunity if I actually venture out on my own. His money insights in that book were phenomenal. And if you haven't read it, I'd strongly encourage you to do that. There is a game out there as far as how money works and how to structure yourself, whether it's from a tax perspective or just how you earn your income. But that's a little further down the road. What I really want you to do is look to see if you actually have a plan, or you're not creating your economy. And by that I mean you're actually letting external conditions decide how much money you make. And you've got a mindset now that currently we could say, well, there's tariffs imposed by the US right now. Yes, our economy is not doing wonderfully. Yes, there's some challenges out there and things are slower than normal, and inflation and cost of living. There's all sorts of things we can point at to say why we won't be successful or do better. But there's also the saying that crisis equals opportunity. And in these times right now, there are people out there who are stepping up and raising their hand saying, I'm a leader in this crisis. I'm going to be someone who's going to be a person you can go to give you amazing value and create amazing results with the right mindset and attitude, and just knowing that regardless of what's happening out there, for example, I'm a realtor, people need to buy and sell. So how do you position yourself as a person who can get the job done despite what's going on all around us? So this is a shift in mindset, and it starts little by little. And if you've got negative thinking right now, you have to focus in and identify what it is that's making you negative. And perhaps it's just been listening to too much news, too much social media, and now it's starting to filter through to your subconscious mind where you're starting to adopt a doom and gloom mindset and attitude. And it's really tough to go out there and produce at a high level when you're soaking your brain with negativity. So the first thing I'm going to suggest you do is you cut off all the outside noise and all the clutter. The second thing would be to sit down and actually blue sky or write out a perfect scenario for you financially and what you actually want. Because without a target, it's guaranteed you're not going to hit it, right? If you don't have a target, how do you know where you're heading? So get a roadmap in place, figure out what kind of income you want to make, talk about the reasons why, write down why this is so important to you and what you would do with the money and what you're willing to exchange in terms of that. Maybe it means no more Netflix and, calling it a day at 6 o'clock and you're putting in the extra work now. Maybe you're working Saturdays and you're actually going out there doing more revenue generating activities. Maybe it's not having so many conversations throughout the course of the day with your friends or just checking in. Start to get systemized, start to get really dialed in and focused in on what you want with a financial goal and start tracking it. Because I can guarantee you, and I'm equally guilty on given days, that if I was to watch what you do in a day, there's probably a massive leak in all of your prime hours that you are just wasting with busy work and nonsense. So I want you to get really, really focused on what you want, where you're going, how much money you want to earn. Because let's face it, the more money you make, the more options you have, and the more of the good of yourself you can give. Because now you can farm out and outsource all those other things that take up your time, and you can be more present doing what you do best. And it's an ongoing conversation about how to best spend your time, but a lot of people will say, work on your weaknesses, work on your weaknesses. I've never been a big fan of that. I've always been a proponent of doubling and tripling down on what you're phenomenal at, because that's your God-given ability and talent, and it's something that's unique to you. And if you're not great with paperwork, for example, or setting up social media, that's what you want to do and hire somebody to do that work for you so that you can continue to produce the income necessary to pay for that, but also to scale and grow your business. So just want you to make some subtle shifts. And I'm going to say it's going to take you about 10 days to start feeling and seeing the difference. And all of a sudden, you're going to feel like this pendulum swung, and you've gone over from negative thinking and negative mindset to possibility thinking. And it just takes one deal or transaction or connection, which could come through one conversation, right? You're putting out positive energy, you're giving great value, you have a service-oriented mindset, you know what you want, so you're starting to resonate with that because what you want wants you. You're going to get on that same frequency, you're going to start operating, acting, performing like the type of person who's going to have what you want. And if you're here on negative, you're never going to get here, and you're going to start getting frustrated. Why can't I get this? It's because you have to elevate your mindset and your vibration and your frequency, get in the right headspace, and start being and acting like the type of person who has this. And it will start with one thing. It's going to be interesting because when you go down this path, all these good things are going to start happening in your life. It's like the universe is going to conspire with you to help you achieve your goals. Remember, your subconscious mind can't differentiate between what's real or what's perceived. So if you visualize and you embed these powerful emotions and feelings connected to your goal in your subconscious mind, you will start to have thoughts about it. You're going to start to feel a certain way. You're going to start to act and behave a certain way, which will draw things into your world. And then the next thing you know, you're going to get, say, for example, as myself as an agent, you'll start getting listings, you'll start getting other buyers, you'll start getting referrals. And 6 months from now, you'll look back and think, oh my God, I've just come so far. And it's just like this momentum of continuous building and growing. And with that, your mindset will change. And you're going to start to recognize how deficient you were in your thinking and that you were focused on everything you don't want. Because remember, guys, what you focus on expands. And if you focus on what you don't want, the lack, uncertainty, and the fear, that's all you're going to see, because your mind is going to find evidence that it exists to make you, connected to what you're feeling. So you got to start focusing on what you want. Let's start there. Get a game plan, get a goal, get it in place, and stretch yourself. Money is just, it's value for an exchange of your skills. So the more value you're providing, the more money you should and will make. So I hope this helps you out there, because too many people right now are feeling stuck, frustrated. They're feeling lack and they don't see opportunity. I want you to be the person who can see through the fog, know where you're going, and with that feeling, you're going to inspire others to see and feel that. Because when there's uncertainty, someone wants to look for the leader, the confident person who's got everything under control and a sense of ease about them. So start today, get organized, get the little things are the big things. So start cleaning up your office space, start clearing your mind of clutter, detox from all the negative stuff, start filling your mind with positive stuff. I call it mind feed. Start getting it really rich with good thoughts and great thinking. Have great conversations with people and really ramp up what you want to earn. Don't be shy about it. I mean, if you're making $100,000 right now, maybe the goal won't be $1 million this year, but maybe it's 250, maybe it's 300. And then we can reverse engineer that and say, well, if I'm doing X that's another thing, guys, really quickly. A lot of times we use our existing models for how we achieve our income, and we don't know how to scale that out. So we just think, well, if I'm working this hard to make this much, if I want to double that, I probably have to do double the work. No, guys, that's wrong. And that's where scaling and leverage and compounding kicks in. Sometimes we have to scrap our existing method of doing things and reinvent it entirely. So don't be afraid to change your business practice up. As a realtor, I know a lot of realtors, they'll door knock, they'll open house, they'll cold call, they'll send mailers and flyers. And if it works for them, they just keep doing more of it. Even if the landscape or the market they're in has changed, they just think that if I do even more, I'll get more. It's not always true, guys. So do a red light, green light on all your activities. And by that, I mean, if something's going well, a strategy, maybe it's door knocking in a particular area and it's going really well for you, green light that. Keep that going while it's producing a positive result. If you've done it for, maybe 3 months, 4 months, and now it's still a fruitless effort, then red light that. Maybe you're going to want to change it up to doing open houses, or just, maybe more social media, whatever it is you feel might be better. But just monitor everything that's working and not working. And if it is working, dial that up and go all in on it. And don't be afraid to just stop doing certain things altogether. And the answer, guys, isn't this hustle and grind 24/7 nonsense. You don't chase success. You don't grab success. You attract success by the person you become and the value you provide. So lots of information here today, but start one step at a time. And I really, more than anything, I want you to change your money mindset. I'd really strongly encourage you to go look for the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Just get your mindset around money up. There's nothing dirty about the word money. It's a phenomenal thing. It provides amazing opportunities. It can give you comfort and security. It can allow you to help give opportunities to others and do so much good as well. So I say the more the better, but more importantly, live an abundant life with a great mindset, okay? Change your story, guys. Have a good one. Make it a great day. We'll talk to you soon, okay? Cheers.